not doing it.
I'm British, I'll do it.
I won't do it.
Oh.
I won't do it.
I pulled it that far away because it kept on tipping over, so I was like, clearly the weight distribution is...
It's because it's got to be in line with it.
It's got to be in line with the foot. I'm leg. It's got to be in line with the foot. Has it got to be in line with the foot?
We on?
Should we roll the intro?
Yeah.
Yo 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 yo. Welcome to the capsule. Welcome to the capsule. Welcome to the capsule. Welcome to the capsule. Hit it, Tally.
Oh no.
Meet Tally.
That is literally an introduction to Tally.
That was too quick for me to respond to. And I was dazzled by the talents on display.
That's a nice way of spinning that. That's a lovely lie you just told. Hello everyone, welcome to the capsule. Thanks for tuning back in. If you're a returning listener, if you're a new listener, welcome to the capsule.
Welcome to the capsule. Welcome to the capsule.
Yay! That was for you.
It's baby crying because they're new.
Gosh, firing on all cylinders this evening.
Thank you.
It's pretty good. I like that. Thank you. Hope everyone had a good week. Where to start? Where do we start today, Genevieve? Should we start with the comment from last week?
Yes. Shall I read it?
Yes, we here at the capsule. No. Tell me. You go first.
Do you not introduce people every episode?
Oh yeah, all right. Well, who have we got in the house then? That's Jen's job.
Fucking dying.
Jen, your job is to introduce.
You're the host. You're the host. I'm the producer. I just press button.
Okay, cool. So, well, who have we got in the house, Jen?
Well, we already introduced her, but let's do it again because sometimes you meet someone and you just have to.
She comes, so I added to the tally.
Hey!
I love it so much.
All right, who else we got up in the crib?
We got my man.
Wait. Oh, that's me.
Where is he?
Should we introduce ourselves and then Jen does that, or should we introduce? I introduce
Do it how it's been done. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Don't change the formula. Don't fuck with it.
Because you said I have to do it, and then you take it away from me, and
That's on you, babe.
That's on him, Abe.
And there's me, Geni, the podcast producer.
Bye-bye, Geni.
Bye, Jenny.
But also, hello, Geni.
Okay.
You know what I'm talking about.
Hey, flip
Let
it
them know
on
what
him.
it's about.
Flip it on him. Good morning.
I have to be careful.
Good morning, America. We here at the Capsule take your engagement very seriously. For all those who like, comment, and subscribe, we see everything. We would like to reply to all of your comments. So we had a comment last week.
Yes, from Percy Fagent.
I have no idea, but
Fagent.
Percy, my
What
boy
up,
Percy.
My boy Percy.
Percy commenting all up on that
Purse.
YouTube.
He stole my purse.
Ooh.
Walk in, purse first. Okay.
Yeah, it's a reference I can get behind.
Okay.
I don't
So
know it.
he said.
Yeah. So what did he ask us? So what were we talking? What was the topic we were talking about last week that he was responding to?
It's when we were talking about Notorious.
Oh yeah.
The breaking competition. Breaking
Yeah.
battle
Yeah,
competition.
and Abe got pissed when he saw the prize money. Yep.
Exactly.
£50?
And then. And then it was 500.
Yeah, it was fine.
Yeah,
It was
£50,
it was
500
what
pounds.
you said times 10.
Pretty
but
much the
it's
same thing.
Okay.
Mr. Worldwide. Yeah.
All right.
Order in the
Mo-
court.
You went rogue first. You set the tone by sitting on the arm.
Yeah.
Like, were you raised in a barn?
Were you raised in a barn? That's a good question, Luke. Were you raised in a
Were
barn?
you raised in a barn? Because the way you're sitting,
Yeah,
I was
the
just
way you're
wondering if you were
sitting,
raised in a
it makes
barn.
you raised in a barn. Yeah.
Vibes.
Sorry, go on.
Yes,
Percy,
Jenny.
we're with
Percy.
you.
We're never gonna get through this episode.
Percy!
Purse first. Whatever that means.
First. Okay. He said during the Notorious break section, you discussed the potential of this scene that has more for corporate sponsorship, etc.
The potential that the
Etc.
scene has
That's the
for
best.
more.
Yeah, I can read. I promise.
Etc.
Super interesting, and I totally agree. But do you
Thanks,
ever
Purse.
worry? Stop interrupting.
Okay.
But do you?
Sorry.
Fucking hell. Do you want to start again?
What did Percy say at Cheddar?
Go, hit it.
Go, we're with you.
I feel like you're gonna do it again. I feel like I can't trust you.
We're not. We can't.
You control our mics.
Turn
You
them
can turn them
down.
down.
Turn them down.
But do you ever worry that if more sponsorships, money, and corporates got involved, it would become saturated and we would end up longing for the days when it was pure and all that matters was a dance?
Longing for the days.
Okay.
What beautifully worded question, Percy.
What a wordsmith.
What a fantastic question.
What do you guys have to say about such things?
Tally, you want to take it away?
Opinion squad? Pod squad? On deck?
Were you too busy interrupting Geni to get the question?
No, I got the question. I know the answer.
Thanks, Tally.
Just checking.
Add it to the tally.
I thought when I saw it after watching that, I got the essence of I agreed with the sentiment of the question, but I think as long as there's someone involved that cares about the culture, it's fine. All the investors are going to care about is their money, and I don't expect them to consider or care about anything else. But as long as I say you, just assuming that the money's coming to a you, if you maintain your care for the culture and the essence of what it was you were trying to build, that it will be fine. We need money, like it needs money.
Yeah.
Also, I feel like
I could have said it better. Sorry.
no, I couldn't.
You
was
said it
very clear.
perfectly. Yeah.
You couldn't have said it better.
Thanks, guys.
Yeah.
But I feel like that wouldn't necessarily replace smaller jams. It would just offer a wider range of different size of events and different kinds of opportunities. But even for a jam to grow big enough to have sponsorships, it would have to start by being a small, like a smaller local thing. So I don't think that it would necessarily replace it. And, I think it's like the same way. I feel like, you can compare, we talked about like a comparison with skateboarding last time in skateboard competitions. But I feel like another way we can compare it is also martial arts.
Okay, tell us.
Explain.
Is like, I feel like in terms of martial arts, you can really practice it as like a sport and, kind of go to competitions and all of that. But there's also people that train it really for the art form and as an expression and go train in a temple in the mountain, like whatever. So I feel like the practice of it as an art form doesn't necessarily take away from the sport and vice versa. Maybe, I don't know that much about martial arts, so maybe people who practice it would disagree with me. But I just feel like these things can coexist. They don't have to replace each other. You know, they just serve different purposes and they actually have different audiences for it as well, or different people who would engage. So I think no matter what, like, people who practice it, like whoever gets in a discipline and is really about the art is always going to be a minority.
Wait, say that again.
Like there's
Lift the mic up.
Okay.
There we go. Thanks. There we go.
Yep. I'm doing it.
Yep, you're doing it. No, you're doing
On a podcast.
it. Okay.
But no, I feel like, people who really like kind of get into the art form and who really, really care about the essence is like a small percentage, or not a small percentage of people who practice, but there needs to be like different stages that you can participate and different stages that you can enter. So it's like as much as, the people who go to their local martial arts, karate or jiu-jitsu centers or whatever are not necessarily going to end up like studying for years on the mountain, but it doesn't make their practice not important or not relevant. It's just different. So I feel like that kind of openness to open it to different kind of practices in terms of dance and street dance particularly could like serve different kinds of different people. So that's my response to that.
Yeah, I think it's like there's a few things. I think the first thing is like that those things and money and sponsorship, kind of what Jen was saying, will only kick in at a certain level. So you're only getting sponsorships in when these events get to a certain level, because otherwise there's no point in putting money. So even if that threshold lowers so that more jams are getting sponsored, you'll still have jams that pop up underneath that threshold that are just like community things. Someone just throws in a thing, even if it's like a training session where we all just like hire out a studio and go and jam, and then we just put on a little battle. Like the social and aspect of the dance won't go away, because it's like not every time we leave the house to dance, like Red Bull are going to chase us down the street to pay us. Do you know what I mean? Like if the three of us say, oh, let's do a little session, and then it's like, okay, let's battle each other or something. You know what I mean? And then from like these small, tiny little things will, what did I say?
Carry on.
Okay. Will still exist and will spring up maybe even more because you'll have more people getting into the thing because it's wider spread and there's more legs for it to go. I mean, I don't know, maybe you can speak on this, but from my perspective, a lot of choreo dancers don't get into the battle scene really. And I've heard people say this specifically, but like just because they don't have time to train it. And it's like, even if you spend all that time training, there's not really much option in terms of like, if you're a career dancer and you're making your money off dance, to then stop that to become a battler, it's like there's not loads of
no incentive.
Yeah, there's not really an incentive.
Win £50, like what's the point? But exactly. I used to, in that same vein, when I'd see dancers get really busy and I'd notice that they weren't training anymore. When I was younger, I used to really judge that and be like, so now you're working, you can't. It's like, well, no, I'm busy working, and then when I have my days off, I want to freaking train. I want to rest or live my life. And I really didn't understand it when it was just like all I wanted to do all of the time. And now my hair's straight just as a signifier to everyone, I won't be sweating this out and I'm not dancing for weeks. So that's where I'm at now. But I also thought when Geni was talking that like exploitation and people that don't have anything to do with the culture picking it up and using it is happening at this level anyway. So is it worse when money's involved, or, you know, does it matter?
True.
Like comps came to mind a little bit, or like the dance studios that don't, you know, teach their very specific version of foundations. And
I think the other side of that comment that he said was about the days when the dance used to be just, what did he say about fun, or just about the dance or something?
Longing for the days where it was just about the dance.
Okay, but this is the thing. The days for anyone that's our age, maybe like 50 and above, OG pioneer level, they experienced the day when there was no chance to monetize dance, right? Anyone that's maybe like 45 and under, we've always had some version of dance being able to be monetized. I mean, even in those days, it was like, even in the pioneers days, you still had backup dancers for musicians and all that, right? So,
Soul Train.
Exactly. You still had these opportunities to get on TV or to do stuff, right? So the days, in air quotes, the days when it was just about the dance was when we were all kids and just doing it for fun and we didn't need to make a living. That still exists. There's a bunch of kids in the scene now who are traveling around, battling, doing stuff because they are in school or in uni or whatever, and they have time to train and weekends, and they're not, I don't know, I'm not speaking about anyone.
There's a bunch of them dancing at Trafalgar Square as we speak.
Exactly. And it's like people can like do this stuff to a certain age, and then you grow up and you have to pay bills and you have to make money. So you have to make a choice. Either I'm going to start monetizing this stuff or I'm going to just quit and go do something else. So I think that will still happen. Like there'll still be social jams. There'll still be kids that want to enjoy the dance and look up to the adults and do their fun stuff. So yeah, I don't imagine. I don't think, from my perspective, that this really changes anything except for making it better for people of a certain level.
Yes,
that's kind of it.
People who are actually doing anything about the scene.
Yeah.
Ooh.
I say that because well done. I told you you could do it still. This same question gets, and this isn't at you, Percy, because I love your name. This same question gets asked in the fighting game community. And anyone who ever complains about it is always the people who lose straight away in tournaments and aren't doing anything and like just playing it around their friend's house. If you ask any of the professional players or people who are trying to make money from it, they're like, fuck no, I want money, man, to do this. I like doing this as a job.
So what's the conversation in the gaming?
Oh, these big corporate companies will come along and we'll lose the essence of our fighting games community, and the community, it won't be a community anymore. It will just be oversaturated with these big sponsorships, and it will lose the essence of what it was. But it's not the case, because if a sponsor came along and was like, yo, I'll sponsor you, but when you're dancing on stage in the finals, you have to eat a banana during your thing, the dance would be like, no, I'm not doing that. I don't want to eat a banana during my solo.
Yeah.
And thus that company wouldn't sponsor anyone unless there's someone that's like, I'll fucking do that for $2,000. I'll eat a banana.
I would 100%
do
it.
But the point is that I'm making, it only benefits the scene because you get the best people fighting each other. Not only do you get the best people, I say fighting because of fighting game, because I know dancing, battling each other. Not only do you get the best people competing against each other, you also get the upcomers, the upcoming, whatever. The people that you're like, oh, they're going to be a threat. I reckon they could take on top name, but now they don't have to pay out of their pocket to travel to X event because they're being sponsored by someone. So they get battle experience. The level of competition grows. People take it more seriously. People train more, thus increasing the amount of people that want to do said event, etc., etc. Only helps out the scene. Unless you're just saying yes to stupid terms and not doing
Which some people will do.
Some people will do, but the people who are about it are going to, be about it. And they're the people that are going to lead the scene forward. They're not going to let that happen.
And that will like encourage more mentorship and teamwork and stuff as well.
Yeah.
And that's on you, babe.
And I think that it's really interesting what you said about like young dancers will have more, or up and coming dancers will have more of an opportunity that they don't get. Like I think someone told me this when I was traveling one time, but it's always like stayed in my mind, but that like for every like one like well-known famous dancer, there's like 10 dancers that are better than them, but we just don't know them because they don't travel. And it's like, I think the way the world scene, battle scene operates at the moment is that you build a rep by traveling. And even if you're good, there's a lot of people, like I said, that are good, but we don't know about them. It's when you travel and you start at the beginning paying out of your own pocket to go to these different battles around the world and do well, and we start seeing your name everywhere. And I guess especially like some of these battles are like
seems like Sheku's doing it right now.
Yeah. I mean, like a lot of those we can talk about that actually. They had a
you got top 8 and then something.
Yeah. They the WDSF squad did good. Team Breaking GB squad.
It was sick that we'll get to that topic.
But
carry on.
Basically what I'm saying is like some of these battles are like how do you call that? Like stamps of approval. Yes. Like if you make the top 8 at like, let's say in popping or whatever, like Battle Bad, Just Taboo, like all of these like things that we kind of look to, you start to get these stamps of approval. Like, oh, you made it to there, you made it to there, you made it to there.
Your seeding will grow when you enter the next competition. Your seed will be higher placed.
Yeah,
People and you don't know what seeds are. It means that you face worse. You don't face the best dancers first.
Yeah,
you face the worst dancers, so you advance through the bracket more, which then further cements and gives you more stamps.
Yeah, and I think to do that, you need to have money to invest in terms of traveling. But you're saying if there's someone good from the UK and it starts to become an incentive for these companies to sponsor them, they could be like some 17-year-old who has no money. But if they're dope, you're getting paid to travel out to these battles and kickstart that process for you, which is good for them, good for us, like as a scene, and also good for the battles. Because it's not so predictable. You get new people incoming all the time. So
it's a win-win-win-win-win.
Win-win-win.
I will say, speaking from my experience in that scene, for any dancers, if you do get sponsored, please like have a plan of like saving money and stuff like that.
Don't blow
stuff like sponsorships, they don't last forever. Companies do come in and are like, we'll just invest a bunch of money because we think we might make money out of this. And then if they are like, oh, we won't make a bunch of money out of this, they leave until the next lot come in and try and do the same thing. Don't be stupid and just sit in your boxes all day and think you don't have to train or anything like that. You do.
And also, I guess, like, have people to talk about the contracts and that side, because they do this for a living.
Yes.
And if you just go, oh, wow, I get that much money, and don't look at anything else, it's like you can really like mess
I had someone come to me about the similar thing. A bunch of investors came into the FGC and it was like, oh, they're going to pay me 800 quid. That's pretty good. You reckon I should?
For what?
For playing video games. It was a competition.
Oh, for one.
Yeah. And I was like, nah, bruv, like go back to him and say, you got first here, you travelled here and got second, you travelled here and got fourth, blah, blah, blah. And he got all the way up to like 1,300.
From 8.
And everyone else in the fighting game community who was better than this particular individual was like, how the flipping hell was he on more money than me?
But just because he held his own. And
he held his own and they don't know what the fuck's going on.
You watched the negotiator masterclass.
Because I watched the negotiator masterclass and I learned how to talk.
And that's on you, babe.
Oh, spicy.
Well, thank you for your comment, Percy.
Thanks, Percy. We love you.
If anybody else has any comments on, because I know some friends of mine and some other people that I know who listen have responses. Sometimes they text me. Sometimes they tell me the next time I see them. Just write it on the YouTube comments or somewhere, and then we can respond to it on the next episode.
And while you're doing that, you can subscribe as well. And while you're doing that, you can click on the little bell as well.
That is the subscribe.
No, it's
No,
not. That's notification.
Oh. Okay. Oh, all right.
Oh wait, I'm sorry.
Bye
that
bye,
just
Jenny.
Yeah. Oh shit.
Jenny's just pushing anything.
No, you're pushing anything. Okay.
Here we go. Moving on. What we got before we have a full-on argument on the pod?
All right, let's move
Tally, I
on.
blame you sitting on the arm for
Yeah,
all
it's
of this
all
energy.
your fault.
Yeah.
You set the tone.
Or
Anarchy.
And a little bit of...
Okay. Shall we talk about IMD on BGTZ?
IMG.
on that, because I was going to mention it, I didn't think it would be next. Just contractually with that sponsorship stuff, because
Yes.
I managed
yeah.
boy band.
Yes, you
and they
did.
entered Dylan Jai, blah blah blah. What they try and tie you into is
For the...
a little wild. with
Talent
Britain's Got-
shows?
Yeah, like what you do for the
I thought they did Got to
year
Dance.
afterwards. No, they did both.
Oh, there we go. Yeah. So, like for what?
like for the next year, everything that you
Is theirs.
will do is theirs.
From what stage at BGT?
Like if
Any.
you make,
Entrance.
Like,
Because-
if you're on TV.
I think because they know that it doesn't, you winning isn't necessarily what makes you successful.
Yeah.
Like they just get you from the off. So
Jump.
anything that you do, even like merch or whatever, like they'd have a cut of all of that as well.
What? So, how does this work?
Like
If I sell... If IMD sold an IMD t-shirt, they get a cut? What?
Well, I don't know if they'd be able to do, I don't know what the terms are now
Yeah.
either. This was like
But more you're
6
speaking
years
from
ago.
what, yeah.
But I don't think we would have been able to do anything off our own back for a period of
Yeah.
time afterwards, because
Anything like a class,
well, no, that was more because we met up with an agent.
right.
I'm so glad that I was there because the boys were really gassed, bless them. One of them in particular was just like leaning back in his spinny seat and spinning around just in this top tier agent's office. And
What? It's got
I think it
wheels.
was Dylan actually. And he was just like, yeah, we got you. And I was like, no. They're about to try and fuck us over. So
Wow.
cease spinning. But like
Spinning.
they
not
wanted
the time.
a cut of every, like all their workshops, like anything that they were doing, the agency wanted a cut of it because there was talk of us doing like a reality show, I think. You know,
Right.
just one of those flash in the pan quick
Yeah.
ones. But any of Dylan's workshops that he was doing at the time, like anything we were doing, they
If
were going to
they're
get 20%.
organising
And
it.
I was like, no. You can have 20% of what you bring here.
Yeah.
But they're a decently oiled machine in our community already. You don't just get a slice without bringing anything to the table. So we just didn't get a deal.
Yeah.
You didn't get anything.
They do
'Cause
that with
they just said no. Like,
Yeah, it just didn't.
They do that
come
with
to
all the
pass.
things, bro. They do that with all the talent shows. The music ones, the dance ones, they own you for a year. That's why you hear like a lot of the music ones, they come out and they sound like really poppy and stuff like that. And then after a year, they start bringing out their own
mad.
stuff that sounds like them.
That's a bit wild.
They own you.
So, I mean,
Soz, but back to
no,
IMD.
that's good. I mean, we didn't introduce necessarily the topic, but IMD did. Britain's Got Talent, and it was the audition stage, I believe. So, yeah, I mean, so I guess the wider conversation then is, for me, is like, what's the point then? Like, if that's the case, 20% of everything you do, if you're already making a living or you know, doing your thing, I get that you get
Exposure.
exposure, the golden word, but is it worth? So you guys obviously still did the show, but just didn't get any deal in terms of them bringing anything. So you're like, we're just fine, we'll just do the show and piss off, kind of thing.
Yeah, I mean, the boys decided to do it before I was involved. I just jumped in to like
Negotiate.
look after the boring bits so they could just have fun and like make
Yeah.
their pieces and not have to worry about contracts and stuff. And also the agent bit wasn't necessarily a part of BGT. They just kind of reached out to the boys for that convo. I think it's exposure, and I did wonder with IMD and like the comp scene, if Omar doesn't mind me responding to them. Well, facts are facts. They're part of the comp scene.
Yes.
Maybe it's useful there, more useful than it would be for a crew in the battle scene or something. Maybe it's got more currency there with like parents
Yeah.
and like getting more kids to the studios and all that.
Yeah. I think,
jazz.
I can imagine like Flawless and Diversity. Thank you. Diversity. What's the main dude? Ashley. He probably got all of that stuff off of the back of that. And Flawless selling out all these shows is just because people have seen them on the TV and stuff like that.
I think
it's your market value.
Yeah, and it depends who your audience is. Like, I think I imagine the thing with the competition scene is like the parents are that lovely.
Yeah.
We love a bit
Should
of
have
that.
done that in the mic.
We love a bit
Raised in a ball.
Raised on a ball.
This one over here, giving me real Bond vibes. Love you. I would imagine that actually the biggest market in the competition scene is parents.
Yes.
If anything. So it's like, yes, the kids want to have fun, but a lot of those kids are kids. Like, I don't know how many adults are, unless they're running a school, like how many of them are doing the competition scene. Like groups of like 25-year-olds, like a bunch of them who are doing the competition scene. I reckon it's probably like a mix. And a lot of them are kids who are, you know, in school or whatever, and this is kind of their hobby or you know, it's not their profession. Then you get the school owners who run the dance schools, and they're making a living off teaching these kids and taking them to the competitions and stuff. But I think a lot of the money generated is probably coming from parents in the sense of like the entry fees, the rehearsal fee, all that shit, right? So if their kid is on TV, that is, I mean, the big stages and the trophies is like a lot of the probably the thing, because I imagine with some of these mega crew competitions and all that, I don't know, but I'm like, these people are not getting prize money enough for it to be split between all of them, right? So even if they are getting prize money, I think a lot of them don't have prize money. If they are getting prize money, it's not enough to be split between everyone. So what it is that the kids get a nice experience or whatever, and they get like a trophy. That's why all these trophies are so important, because it's like something you can bring back home and put on your mantelpiece. And it's like a kind of like a thing, you know, when you do sports when you're a kid and you get your little medals and you get your, you know, your black belt and or the whatever the thing is in your sport. So I think those things are to encourage the parents to sign the kids up for the next term. And I guess stuff like Britain's Got Talent and stuff for these type of crews, I don't know about IMD specifically, but these type of crews, it's like so that the parents can be encouraged more than, because I also imagine, and tell me if you have any knowledge of this, but I also imagine these type of crews aren't doing a bunch of like commercial work. Like they're not getting hired, like all 52 of them to go and like even We Ain't Regular being hired as a crew is like a big, like that's a lot of people to get hired as one entity. You know what I mean? It's like usually you get cast as a bunch of singular dancers.
Yeah.
But like to get like any of these competition crews that are like doing well, even like that's why I think maybe Request Crew with Paris Goebel was such a like anomaly, that they were doing tours as Request Crew.
Yeah.
Coming kind of from that comp world. So it's like, so they're not, what was my even point about that?
You kind of cut yourself off mid-sentence.
But I think to like your point, there's probably different kinds of people and different organizations that go into these competitions and seeing how it's going to feed into like not necessarily their business model.
Yeah.
It's not just business, but it partly is though. But meaning like if I think when Bones went and did it.
Oh, we're
It
talking about
helped
Britain's Got
Bones,
Talent
didn't
or
it?
the...
Britain's Got
I
Talent.
thought you were talking about the
Oh no, but I mean meaning like how it feeds into the
yes,
how it
existing
feeds
business model.
into the what you're actually doing.
Yeah.
So it's like a crew like IMD, like you said, or like I'm not from the UK, I don't know historically like all the mega crew names, but
Not that many.
like you said, they're kind of their thing is to enter comps. They're not necessarily maybe an aspiration is to get hired as a crew to do things, but I don't think that there's a lot of spaces where that happens, that there's mega crews that exist and that do things as a mega crew, even in movies or whatever.
Yeah, like where would you need that many dancers?
They create theatre shows normally, don't they? They create like
Rare-
pantos.
Yeah,
theatre shows.
Yeah, Diversity are doing tours by themselves.
Yeah,
yeah,
and so did Request, and yeah,
I'm smart.
sometimes.
Yeah.
Then that's on you, babe.
But
Such dancers, I tell you.
I'm gonna create a whole piece to that. Yeah,
and go on BGT.
only if it feeds into our existing business model.
We'll make it work. But yeah, all that to say that I think it's probably, you know, getting that exposure for a crew like that is probably, like you said, feeding into registration.
Yes.
More than
Even open classes, these type of things.
Yeah, exactly. You know, and of course for the kids that are involved in it, it's
Gassed.
Yeah, it's super special to be on like TV.
yeah, exactly. And it's also I think an occasion to be challenged and to kind of perform at another level, you know, on a bigger stage in front of an audience that's not just people entering like in competitions, everyone in the audience is family members and people entering the same
or
competition.
other crews mean mugging like
Exactly. So I think it's like now you get in front of a more general audience.
yes.
So, you know, I think also probably they have other challenging things in terms of maybe the music they can use is not necessarily the same that they can use in a competition. So I think there's like working with different parameters. Yeah, I lost my English here.
Say it in French.
Paramètres. Like is good experience, I think, and probably I'm making this sentence so long. You know what I mean? You know what I'm saying?
I think for crews it's not as big of an undertaking for them because I imagine they train weekly and they've got pieces just like ready to
churn out
ish or numbers at least to piece together, whereas for some of us it would be like I ain't got 3 minutes. I mean, what is it, 3-4 minutes? Guess it's not that long, but
or 2. I
Just
think
do slow-mo for 2 minutes, bit of 30 seconds worth of freestyle.
do you think we could
seconds.
enter as a pod?
Yeah.
Yes.
Just do like 3 minutes of like shit hot content.
I wish there was other pods so that we could call them out and
We
challenge
just
them to
sit down
stuff.
and talk for 3 minutes.
Yeah.
Oh, I
pod
do the
with-
pod. I thought you meant make a piece.
No.
Just do a pod.
But that would be cool.
Yeah.
Some like army choreo.
Just sitting down.
But no, enter as a pod.
We're just going to talk for 2 minutes.
Yeah,
It's
don't
gonna
mind
be
us.
What if
welcome
stand-up-
to the capsule. You can't laugh.
Yeah,
If they can do stand-up comedy and magic and stuff, why not? We're
Yeah.
a podcast.
A pod. Could you imagine someone doing a podcast?
And just
Or one of those shows.
you barely get into the first
Yeah.
topic and the time runs out.
Yeah, that.
So what do we think about? Oh, all right. Anyway,
Yeah. Flipping hell.
gold ticket.
that would be hilarious. Britain's Got Talent, hit us up, yo.
Please don't.
Please
I think,
don't.
yeah, but I think that's the thing as well. Is like with anything that you do, you have to know why you're doing it, and if you don't, if you're like people that are lost and kind of just do stuff because they see it, like,
That's what other people are doing. So I should do it too.
yeah, like the Chris D'Elia's Barracuda thing.
Bunch of kudos.
Yeah, he calls people like that Barracuda. The comedian I listen to calls people like that Barracudas because they just go for anything shiny. It's just
Right.
like, oh, there's something that looks cool. I'm just gonna chase it, and
Yes.
it's like you haven't thought beyond
Yes.
that looks shiny, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And I think,
Kudo.
yeah, this is where people get like lost in these circles of like, and I mean, everyone's been through it. I feel like Jen, you had a bit of that with the battle stuff where it's like just kind of
With my life in general, but I feel like that's for another.
Oh, okay. But yeah, where you kind of just are doing stuff because everyone else is doing it and you think that's the path. And you, I had it with like wanting to go to dance college and stuff when I was like back in our choreo days when I was around more. All the people I was around were like, well, I'm going to Erdang, I'm going to this college. And I was like, well, I'm going to this one. Got there and after a term I was like, well, fuck this. Like, not for Luke. But yeah, it's just like it's super easy to just get wrapped up in what you think the path is without really giving it any thought as to why you're doing what you're doing and how it's going to benefit.
It's a lot of people with commercial work, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think a lot of us start dancing because we see something on telly and
Yeah.
want to be behind that artist or...
But if you're doing work, at least it's like the money is, there's something.
Yeah, but I think the disillusionment that you felt at college happens to a lot of people.
Right. In the commercial
Speaking
scene.
from experience as well. When you get there, you're like, oh, God, no.
Is that what happened to you?
Yeah, just like it's really unglamorous for one, and it doesn't look that way when you're
On the outside.
looking at it. I don't think the money is that good relative to the amount of work that
Really?
it takes. Yeah, it's the least enjoyable of all the pockets of the industry that I found myself in, but it was the one that I had my eye on when I started.
Interesting.
Yeah. like the X Factor auditions and all that
Yeah.
hoopla, like all that stuff. It's like the audition of the year, and then you get there and you're like, this is hell. And I'm going to be dancing for someone that was a secretary yesterday. Like,
Yeah.
done this.
That was a second. Oh, because it's X Factor.
Yeah. Like, what's all this for?
That's hilarious.
Debbie from Downham, like, no.
And then they tell you haven't got through and you look really upset, and then they finish filming and they go, sorry mate, could you do that bit where you were looking down looking really upset again, please?
Zooming in. And also when you get booked for like BGT as well, you book the season, but you don't know how many weeks of it you'll do, and you also don't know what the creative is for what you're doing, so you're very much in the dark as to what you've even auditioned or signed up for.
Yeah.
Like some
Eat a banana on stage.
yeah, or like I remember a year when the guys had to wear chaps, but it was like a bunch of straight guys.
Right.
Not that you know, I'm just my assumption that my gay friends will have less problem, or some of them will have less problem wearing chaps on stage than my very alpha male friends. But
Obviously, she's talking about me.
they wouldn't have.
Obviously, I'm
Get in
right.
the chaps.
I'm right here. You could just say
Yeah.
my name, Alpha.
Alpha.
Male. Oh, you called?
How would you feel about wearing chaps on
Oh, I'd love it. No,
on stage?
What's chaps?
How much you paying me?
Those like cowboy, like Christina Aguilera Dirty video. Chaps.
Oh,
chapstick. He said
Like
chapstick.
pants, but without a butt and
Yeah.
without a front.
Yeah.
Just the legs.
Just the legs.
very interesting.
So how
But
does
just
that?
rocking up
just
to
the-
work and
yeah.
being like, here you go, here's your chaps.
Just the legs and a belt.
Nice.
Yeah, I'm
Yeah.
not. I mean, I'm not a fan of that type of thing. I mean, not just
Pretend you're wrestling.
Like, I think if it was for something that I enjoyed, if I enjoyed that type of work, I wouldn't mind that as much. I'd be like, it's just a costume as part of the thing.
But
You know what I mean?
similarly, one week you might have to like freestyle while one of the
Yeah.
rap duos do their thing. It's like, but so you just have no idea what it is that you've
Yeah,
been
signed
at
up
a dang 10 till 6 sweating and auditioning and crying about.
But I feel like
So
there's like
strange.
there's like a what's it called? Like a
Range.
mentality in the commercial scene about like the thing to be aspired to is to be super versatile, and I can do like I could freestyle one week and the next week I could do Vogue and the next week I could be a locker. Like
This persona for
and
me.
that's what I've been trained to do. But is that type of like
Yes.
stars in their eyes energy? It's like you got Moxie, kid. You can make it in Hollywood. It's like that type of like no,
No.
I'm loving everything you're doing. Carry
Yeah,
on.
same.
like the young
Very
starlet
entertaining for me.
just moved to Hollywood with stars in her eyes. Like
Right.
I'm gonna make it. I can make it if I can make it here. I can make it anywhere. No? Is that not like a graduate?
We're just loving the impression.
Yeah,
Oh,
and like
right.
the pinkies up and
Yeah.
just so much is happening.
I can make it here. I can make it anywhere.
Yeah, versatility is a
Like
big.
getting off the bus
selling
in front of the
point.
Empire State Building and just being like, wow.
Yeah,
I feel like we're going off topic.
We are going off topic. That
a
is
little bit.
that's obviously
But versatility is great. Yeah.
yeah. I feel like more so than any other like thing in the scene, like battlers or whatever, like that, like this thing of like not knowing what you signed up for and being able to attack each challenge and do like wear chaps or do freestyle or whatever. Is that not something that they would enjoy the challenge of if you love that type of environment? No.
I think, this is still off topic, so feel free to be like, shut up.
That's what we did a buzzer off.
I think that the mark of, or one strong quality, or quality of a strong commercial dancer is the a bit like the performative element. Even if you aren't very good at a certain style, you can get by
Yeah.
with what's thrown at you. And from my experience, I think I've said this on another pod, of working with
What other pods are you on?
freestylers that
Cheating.
don't necessarily have that quality. If you throw something on their bodies, it just like it doesn't know
Looks
where
like
to
shit,
go.
yeah.
And commercial dancers by trade are very good at just finding a decent place for most types of movement to sit.
Yeah. I don't know if this is you want to get that hot take button ready. It's not a hot take, but it might be.
So don't.
I'll get
then
it ready.
Maybe
Just
I
in
don't know.
case.
Oh, the little dot bop, little bop bop.
Say your thing and I'll decide.
Stop waiting, time wasting. I got a friend in my home in the basement.
What's happening?
That's the song, you don't know.
Luke, go!
Oh yeah. So I think that it's like this thing about like commercial dancers that what
And then like, go.
Oh, Mr. Worldwide.
Go.
Commercial dancers that like train styles because they'll need them in like auditions and stuff, and it's like, oh, there might be a locking piece or a popping
Right.
piece, so I'm gonna learn, like I'm gonna go to Sean's class and learn popping. It's like, from someone who cares about these styles, you don't need to learn them properly to be able to perform them on stage. Like I can.
That is a hot take.
The only thing I would say is hits can't really be faked. Everything or breaking. Like you have to learn like the freezes and that shit. So like the technique to be able to do it. Hits in pop in, you can't really fake if you've never done them. Everything else I think you can fake. Like it's wait. Let me finish my my hot take.
Go on.
My hot abe. I think it's like to learn locking technique to perform a locking piece is like if your job is to replicate what a choreographer does, and you've trained that in Erdang or any of these things, and you've trained like contemporary and ballet and commercial dance, and you can copy what a choreographer does, it's just movement. Like even pop in, it's just movement. You just need a choreographer or a teacher. The person choreographing needs to know the style to choreograph it for stage.
Yeah.
But if you're just a dancer and they say, all right, we're going to do a walkout, put your foot there, sink into the hip, lift the shoulder, put your head this way, do that, and then let your wrist hang. It's like if you describe it and teach it well enough, any commercial dance can pick up and make it look like they can pop besides the hit or do lock-in or whatever, like a top rock. Is like if the teacher knows how to teach the style properly and what those nuances are that makes it look like a real breaker doing top rock, then any commercial dancer I think can pick that up. It's just that if the choreographer, and this is what I often think happens, is like you see a pop-in section or whatever and it looks cheesy as shit, and it's because the choreographer doesn't, they're just like, all right, we're going to do this, then we're going to do this, and then we're going to do a baby freeze. And it's like, you know what I mean? It's like if you had an actual b-boy, like Message in a Bottle, Zoo Nation thing. A lot of them aren't breakers, but I'm assuming Gavin had a lot to do. Who else was on there? Gavin and Lee wasn't on it. No,
Tommy, Emma.
Yeah. So like, at least even if it's just Em and Gavin, they're both legit breakers. So when they teach you how to do something, all you need to do is copy and do it how they do.
Yeah, and they were a strong cast of very smart dancers.
Exactly.
So they would have been able
so you've got someone like Jai or who else was in there? Like Jai, I don't think it's like if he goes into a breaking battle, breakers are going to be like, he's not a breaker. But if he does that on stage and copies what like Gavin or Emma telling him to do, he's gonna be able to make
More
it
than
look
capable.
fire. Do you know what I mean? Because he's strong, he can do the stuff. Like maybe there's certain things where they're gonna go, oh, your freeze looks a bit whack, but you're still holding yourself up, but do it like this. But yeah, I just think it's like
that makes sense.
If you're asked to freestyle, that's a different thing. It's like, oh, we need you to do a house freestyle, and then you go out and you're just like throwing your knees up, like we can tell that you can't do house. But in a routine choreographed by someone who knows the style, I don't think you need to actually have any experience. You just need to be able to copy and understand the nuances of what you're making look good. But that's the same with anything.
I mean, that was my exact experience in Red and Trap Lord with the styles.
Yeah.
It's like, I can. You ask me to freestyle in any of these, I'll be on my arse crying. But sure, you can throw eights at me and I can
just copy what you asked me to do.
Yeah, like I'd rather not be, but like if that's what you want, then sure.
I don't think that's the case with popping.
Oh. But a little bit of hot.
I think maybe with locking, I'm not sure. Locking's back anyway, so who cares about that? I think with I think with popping specifically, it's hard to get the feel. Like when you first started popping, like you were training, you were doing all the stuff, and I kept on saying there's something missing. And when I see
that's
people,
freestyle.
Yeah,
if you taught me a routine,
even if you go to Sean's class and watch people do routines, a lot of them look like they're doing a Fresno or a walkout or one of the boogaloo techniques or whatever, but it doesn't look good. And poppers can tell that. But if you have that feel to it, even if, let's say, I dance to a Sean routine and I don't look like anything like Sean does when I pop, but I still have the popping feel. I don't know if that's the case with breaking or house or locking.
Probably.
I'd imagine like I've never looked at locking in a routine. I've seen it with house and I've seen
I've
it with
just never
popping.
looked at locking in a
I've
routine.
never fuck locking. No, I've looked at
Every time somebody locks, Abe closes his eyes.
I've just never seen locking.
a pop-in. I've seen it with popping in house specifically when people have popped it into their routines. And it looks shit.
Yes.
Breaking, I think I've seen, and locking, I think I've seen, and I haven't been able to tell the difference. But I don't know if that's because I don't know that much about.
I think I've been able to tell with breaking. Locking less so, because locking is more about the vocabulary. This is a hot take that I'm going to get cast out for, but hot take. It's more reliant as a style. Actually, no, this isn't a hot take. Fuck that. Standing on this opinion. It's more reliant on the vocab than any like movement qualities. It's more moves than movement quality, right? So if you hey, let me finish my fucking point.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
All right.
What an attitude.
Very
I'll knock you out on this
Glad you-
podcast.
yeah.
No, but it's like, okay, say with popping, right? You can have a hit and just that and still do a legit popping round.
No, because it's the movement between the hits that looks off.
As in,
Luke.
No, wait. Forget the routine thing that we're talking about. I'm talking
Okay.
about styles wise.
Okay.
Popping, you can hit on the beat and
Yeah.
then you can just like move and do anything like abstract kind of movement. As long as you hit on the two, you kind of like, it qualifies as popping to a certain extent.
No.
You don't have to do walkout. You don't have to do.
No, you don't have to do that. But even if you're just moving freestyling and not actually doing a particular move, there's still a feel.
Yeah, but I'm not talking
Yeah.
about that other thing. I'm talking about
You're conflating. You're
Yeah,
conflating.
like I'm saying, locking as opposed to popping is
Yeah.
more about the moves that you can do. And
Okay,
the amount of vocab.
right, yeah, I'm with it.
So yeah, popping you can have like just waves and hits, and it still kind of counts, right?
Yeah.
In locking, you need to be able to do vocab. You can't just, if I said lock without doing any vocab, I don't know what you like. You just move like popping. If I said pop without doing any vocab moves or hip hop, you can just bounce without doing the running man. You know what I mean? I don't know. Maybe whacking is similar in that sense to locking, that it's like built around these like vocab moves, as opposed to I mean, maybe breaking is similar as well to an extent, where it's vocab moves. Go on, Jen. You're
Because
gonna
Top Rock,
Yeah.
there's not vocab moves in Top Rock, is there?
Yeah. You
Well,
got
there are
like the cross step, Indian
Yeah,
step,
but
all
then
that.
there's like
You could freestyle
you
around
could freestyle.
them. Yeah.
Top Rock.
But
True.
okay, here is my
Go on. Hot take.
I don't
You're
know,
so
you
over
know.
that. You're so over that.
Yeah, no, that's not a thing. Don't do that anymore. Carry
Which
on,
one?
Jen.
Which
Him
one?
shouting hot take is not good.
Look at you every time.
Yeah, no.
Sorry. Do go on.
I let it slide a couple times, but no, stop doing that. Go on.
a little ago, but it needs to end now.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think there was a lot of different points that were made, but I think it needs
Get
to be
better
aligned with the
tribal.
foot.
I'm so glad you said that.
Take.
Nope, not a thing.
Thank you.
Not
I'm gonna make it a thing. Stop trying to make fetch a thing.
It's not a thing. I think that, like, in regards to locking and whacking, like, yes, it's vocabulary based, but it's not only vocabulary. I think there's also like a language, like
Agreed.
that kind of a physical language and an aesthetic that goes beyond just
Yes.
doing
The feel.
moves in a row. Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's like, I feel like in a sense, with what you're saying with like, commercial dancers being able to pick up a style good enough to perform it on stage and to deliver it. It's like, yes,
But it doesn't have that.
but at the same time, I feel like when you have a group of dancers doing choreography who really do this style as well, it really makes a difference.
Yes.
Like, I remember, and the most obvious example to me is like growing up seeing Missy Elliott videos and the dancers in Missy Elliott's videos and the choreography, that for me, that was just, how a lot of people grew up watching Michael Jackson.
Yeah.
For me, and that's what made them want to dance. For
Yeah.
me, that was Missy Elliott.
Yeah.
Sick.
So
Those kids.
yeah,
Those damn kids.
I was sure I was gonna be that little white girl in that video one day.
Pass that touch. Yeah.
But so I feel like, if it's a question of like passing and good enough, like sure,
Yes.
Yeah.
okay, and if you kind of take a group of commercial dancers and maybe a group of b-boys or even poppers, and like the poppers and the commercial dancers both have to do popping, and then they both have to do commercial commercial choreography.
What, who are they doing?
I know what you mean.
Let it go. Abe,
Never.
let it go.
Never.
But like the commercial dancers are going to deliver the popping better than the poppers are going to deliver the commercial choreo. So it's like, that's why I think maybe the go-to would be more commercial dancers. But at the same time, I don't think that it is a replacement for when you want to have like kind of authentic. Even like I went to see Bruno Mars in concert.
I love him so much.
I love him so much.
All right, girls, calm down.
Do you know what I mean? Fuck
Yeah, no, we're right here, man.
I know. Do you know what I mean?
Anyways,
Ariana Grande, yeah.
Yeah, bruv. She looked no.
No,
Not
you
She
don't.
looks
I knew you
12.
would. I
She
knew
looks
you wouldn't be
12.
on board with that.
Yeah, she does.
And we also
The first pop star I
didn't
could.
say what we loved.
Yeah, well,
about
you were
it.
thinking it.
Because I was talking about the show.
No, you weren't. No, you weren't, Tally.
Come off it. We weren't raised in a barn.
but I was saying Bruno Mars, I went to see him in
Yes.
concert, and he had all his musicians, but they can all dance
Very
and
well.
they
Yes.
kind of go on and have a little dance on stage, like little choreos, and it was fucking dope.
Sick.
And it makes such a big difference
Yeah.
rather than having kind of people just execute
Yes.
like a movement because it's 5 and 6 and 7 and 8.
Yeah.
So I think that there is a space for that.
Also, depending on why and what you're choreographing.
Yeah, so for something like X Factor,
I mean, just lift it up. Like you're just holding it down.
it just
and-
keeps on going.
Do what you want, Jen. Don't listen to
Thanks,
him.
Abe.
No worries.
Yeah, so for something like X Factor, probably it doesn't make a difference, or not. It doesn't make a difference.
No, it doesn't
but,
make a difference. I'll say
you
that.
know, it's just like
Disposable.
Yeah.
yeah.
Because it's not stylized around those things. Like you when you're very rarely, and like Bruno Mars's stuff is especially certain songs are like built around the feel of a certain era.
Yeah.
Right. And it's like the music, the musicians have to be able to play that type of stuff. He has to be able to sing in a certain type of way, and the dancers have to dance in a certain type of way to sell that image. Stuff like X Factor or these things, and it kind of goes on to a different tangent, I guess. But I'm like, why do you even need a popping routine in this? Why do you even need a locking routine? Just dance cool. Like people just want to see high explosive moves. You don't have to do break. No one in the normal day to day recognizes the difference between real breaking.
Yeah, so
or
just make some shape.
just make some shapes and
Make
stand
some
on.
shapes.
Make some shapes. Yeah, see, you gotta make some shapes. Yeah, when you go to Hollywood, you want to make it. You gotta make some shapes. Yeah,
She came with stars in her eyes.
I'm gonna make it in Hollywood. You got Moxie, kid. You can do it. Yeah, so just do some shapes, and like, there's no point in even. That's more of a choreography thing, I think. It's like you're not getting bonus points from your community just because you put a popping routine in. Do you know what I mean?
I've said this
More
before.
time doing it badly.
But Lee said I look like when I first started trying to do popping. He said, and he's always to this day, he's like, "Did I say that really?" He
Lee says that so much. we say something to him, and he's like, "Did I used to say that?"
Wow.
Yes, you did.
he said, "You look like a choreo dancer trying to pop."
Well, that time you were.
And yeah. But
That's a very accurate
But I was
description.
entering popping competitions and all that, and then he
Yeah.
said that, and I was like, "Fine, I'll do crump then." I just gave up
And
popping.
look at you now. You do both.
And look at you now.
Look at
I have
you.
I have a
Getting
question
paper.
for
Cropper.
for Tally. I have a
cropper
question
or a-
for
She comes
Pumper.
right into the tally.
Pump,
I'm just laughing
The
at
pumper?
myself. Yeah.
cropper,
A cropper. Wait, cropper or
Pumper.
a pumper?
a pumper cropper.
I don't know which is best. I don't know which is worse.
Sorry.
I'm so
do go
sorry
on.
for my colleagues.
In the communities. Oh.
Yeah.
Which communities? The pumper community. Or the cropper community.
The pub community.
Save us.
Help.
Fix this before it continues.
So, because Tally, you said that it was originally what you had your eye on as a career to kind of dance for artists, right? And now you've done it, and you're like, maybe that's not the thing. But is there an artist that to this day you would be like, if it was that artist, I would do it?
Or if it was that paycheck.
Bruno Mars.
Oh my God, I would love to
There
dance
we
with
go.
Bruno Mars. Or Missy.
Yeah.
Or Janet. But I never grew up. It wasn't like I want to dance for that person. It was. I just wanted to do
That type of work.
Right.
that thing. Wanted to be on a telly.
Yeah.
I'm on a telly.
Still need to
Look
be
at
on
me,
the
Mom.
telly.
Tally on the tally.
Telly on
My
the
dad
telly.
still shows people like a 9-year-old music video. Of
course he
like
does.
that, because that's the one
Yeah,
that's,
yeah,
you
yeah.
know, the claim to fame in his
No.
eyes.
Yeah, I hear that.
Alas.
Yeah, before this goes on any more tangents, what else we got, Genevieve?
Let me open my little book.
Oh, she's got it written down all analog styling.
She's all analog right now because we can't trust her.
Can't
computers.
trust her with the computer.
Yeah, you can.
Oh,
I saw a video. Don't worry, that's very tangenty. Go.
tangerines.
I saw a video too, but let's move on.
Yeah.
Has anybody else
Oh,
seen a
I
video?
saw loads of videos.
Where are you going? Because I had a thing
Where
off the
am I?
back of what we were just talking about.
Well, where am I going? Well,
Yeah,
say
well,
it.
oh, all right. Wolf. It's very, very
Say it.
confrontational, this pod, isn't it?
And that's on you, babe.
I'm Luke!
That's not my button.
So, BBC Young Dancer.
Yes.
Lauren and Omni.
Omni.
The first episode came out. Or Matthew and Lauren, as they say on the show.
What was Matthew's surname, Luke?
I don't know if I can pronounce that. Eudu? Eudu?
You tell me.
I don't know. You do it.
It sounded, it's EUDU, I think, or something.
Mm.
UDU, yeah.
Anyway.
He's just trying to get me to struggle over this
Carry on.
name. Yeah, fair enough.
Yep. Let it go.
I own it. None of you guys know how to pronounce it.
I don't even know what it is.
So, Omni. Omni and Lauren were on BBC Young Dancer, and the first episode came out maybe, I don't know when, the other day. So we watched both of their performances. What did we think, gang? What did we think of the whole shenanigans? We didn't watch anyone else's on the show.
I thought
Full disclosure.
Dixon was hilarious.
Oh, yeah,
Yeah.
that was great. That was
all about
great.
the vibrations.
Yeah.
Yeah, he said, well, the way that it might be the edit as well,
It
because
was
I'm sure they
definitely
said.
the edit.
It
You
was
can tell.
definitely the
You can
editing,
tell.
but also it's also very Dixon to do that. I want them to battle. I want to be there when they next battle at an event. Because
He's like,
yeah.
he's like, don't give me feedback on national
Yeah,
TV.
he's gonna be like popping in his face. How about these vibrations, bruv? You like these vibrations? Yeah.
Yeah, because for context, the way that they edited it was that as soon as Omni finished his thing, Dixon says, "What did he say? Did
you think those vibrations were clean? Yeah.
And it was
Very
just like cut
passive-aggressive.
straight to that.
And then Omni went, I was going for Messi because of like the way that it's sung. It wasn't going, and then it cut back to Dixon and he went,
Yeah, he said,
yeah, that's it, yeah.
The shade.
Yeah, it wasn't like,
But
okay, it was.
I'm sure
like,
they like piece through all the like feedback to find the thing that's gonna
make
And it looks like
entertaining
they
TV.
film it.
from lots of different angles.
Yeah, so I can imagine it'd be easy to forget that you were even being filmed, it as opposed to like judging panel camera there and like watching your mouth a little bit. Because Dixon was chilling.
Yeah.
I enjoyed it.
Yeah, I love that though.
Lauren was sick as well. They both did very
Very
well.
much.
Yeah, they
So-
both did very well. I think what I was saying to
Me.
Tally while we were watching it is like, and not to make this about me, but everything is really. No, but you know, we did the camera, the workshop that I did, the last one.
I will come to one day.
That's all right. Well, that would be nice, but no pressure, mate. But the one that we just did, the last one, was about like presentation dancing on camera, and I was talking to them about the different types of lenses. And when you use a long lens in photography, which is like, for people that don't know, it's like a lens when you're further away, basically like a really zoomed in lens, which often they use for like TV and film and stuff, as opposed to like a really, like what a lot of our kind of dance videos in the community are made with is these like what Joe uses is like a shorter lens. It sucks out the energy, but mostly like it sucks out the like you could run forward like 4 paces and then run back, and it just doesn't look like you did anything on camera.
Yeah,
because
it
it
looked
compresses
flat.
exactly. It
Right.
compresses the distance, and this is something as a photographer you have to look at in the sense of it can change the way someone's face looks. So if you keep them in the same, like there's a video online, maybe I'll find it, but like if you keep the person in the same place in the frame but use a different lens, so like you would have to move back.
Okay.
Their face literally goes like this,
Interesting.
and you like see a different distortion of their face, right? So it changes the perspective. So when you're doing portrait, just not that this is that interesting, but when you're doing portrait photography, if you use like a really wide lens, like maybe not fisheye, but if you use a wide lens with someone, it can make people look weird.
Right.
And that's why there's a certain thing where you want to use a certain focal length because of how it distorts the face, and you want to make someone look their best. Like you kind of go for certain type of thing. So these like TV and film things, I think when they film the dance, often on these long lenses, we're used to seeing this really dynamic, like moving shots. And also like the way that it is like the wider you go, the bigger forward and backward movement looks. So a fisheye is like you can just like reach towards the camera and it looks like they've gone like 4 meters. So like I said, a lot of the lenses that people are using to film battles or to film dance videos and stuff are these cheaper-ish, like maybe around like 24, 28 mil lenses. And that creates a real sense of dynamic movement, which they don't have on these TV shows, I don't think. Like,
Interesting.
so that is why when I was watching, I was saying like, you're saying it looks kind of flat, and like a lot of the energy felt sucked out of the performances. Yeah.
Yeah. Do you reckon that would have been the same if they? Yeah. Do you reckon that would have been? I'm in shortage. Do you reckon that would have been the same if they just had like just the front on camera and they didn't use any cuts, but with that camera? Because I always thought it was the cuts that did it, but you know more than me because you're a videographer and you do that more.
Yeah, I think so. This is the other thing with editing is like I think sometimes it can cut the momentum, but it's weird because it's kind of like the Marvel fight scenes, right, where they cut because they think like it creates more energy to cut, and maybe it does for a certain like demographic of people, but also if you've got good dancers or in that case fighters or whatever, fight choreography, you can maintain that level of excitement without having to cut 50 million times.
Yeah, it's becoming a thing now where they don't do that much, isn't it? One long shot. Yeah,
like John Wick and stuff. I always use that example. Like if you look at the difference in like a Captain America fight scene or a John Wick fight scene, it's like the ones in John Wick, they spend so much time like learning how to do the shit and like choreographing it amazingly, so they don't need to cut. They can do those long takes, and that's why it's so impressive, because they did a long take without cutting and you're still like, holy shit, that was good.
Gangs of London.
Yeah, it's like that.
Yeah, the Tony Jaa choreographed it, which is fucking sick.
He's the one that did
Ong Bak.
Yes.
Ning Padong. That's what he says, isn't there?
I don't know that, but
yeah, Gangs of London.
I didn't hear great things about it. Is it good?
Really?
Yeah.
We'll speak after. Or we'll say at the end.
We'll sort this out. Yeah, when it devolves into chaos in the last 10 minutes.
Then we can talk about
throw these topics in.
Series.
Yeah, so I think that the edits, I think they think they're trying to, like zooming in on the face and cutting into the feet and all this. They think they're making it more exciting. I wouldn't do that. But then also the thing is,
tell me,
if you get to like the way we film, you're up close to the dancers, and it's like if you've got a whole panel of things and you've got other cameras and you want to do multiple angles, you want to do a shot of Dixon reacting and this, that, and you can't have someone running back and forth with a gimbal in the middle. Do you know what I mean? Like it just doesn't work. So I get why they do that the way they do it. And it's maybe not as important because it's like we're noticing this lack of energy in the performances, but your normal person isn't, No. But I think, these type of things, it adjusts how you dance, or let's say you need to adjust how you dance for them. Like this is kind of the whole point of that camera workshop that I did is like, depending on what lens you're using. And, if, I could have told this to Omni and Lauren before they went on, but I didn't know. But like, if you're dancing for thing and they're going to tend to use these type of lenses, or you're working with a videographer or a photographer that is shooting you, I was saying to the dancers that came to the workshop, like, because someone said, oh, would you recommend like asking what lens they're using, or is that like rude? And I was like, no, I would never not know what lens they're using. You know what I mean? It's like, you don't need to know the exact lens, but are you shooting wide? Is this a close up? Try and understand what it is, because if say for Lauren and Omni, this, you can adjust your dance to compensate for that. Yeah, right. And you kind of understand, oh, this is this type of shot, let me do this, or this is this type of shot, let me do this. Or, if you've got a fisheye, like we were doing the other day, the distance is looks really impressive when you move forward and backwards, right? So you can purposely build that into your rounds or your performance in order to maximize what you're working with, right? Go on.
But I feel like, and this is really interesting what you're saying.
Oh, okay.
But I feel like it must be challenging for them because it's like they are dancing for a live.
Yes.
Like,
Yeah.
you know, they're not just dancing for a
They're
camera.
also auditioning.
They're also
Yeah.
auditioning for a panel of people that are sitting in front of them. And even for the final at Roundhouse, like it will be filmed,
Yeah.
but they're also performing for a live audience.
True.
So I think in a sense, like, and I'm asking, I wouldn't know how to balance, building something for a live audience.
That is
and-
also going to be filmed.
Yeah.
I think.
know that you
I
can.
think. Yeah, no, I don't. Because I think the people at home will more than likely vote for who the crowd respond to the most. So you might as well just do it for the crowd.
public vote.
But just I don't know
I don't-
about this.
but
No,
But
I
just
think
in
it's
general.
a
Like-
panel of judges,
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
So I guess the live thing is like ultimately the
important.
most
The priority.
yeah, and
Yeah.
because even when they did that audition, it's airing now, but it was filmed.
Yeah.
Time
Yeah.
ago.
Yeah.
But I think it's really, I mean, it's something that we're not like as dancers necessarily conscious enough of, which I think is like really interesting what you're saying. But at the same time, it's also kind of knowing, okay, if you're performing just for a camera, i.e. like even a music video or whatnot, or like something live that's also filmed.
Yeah.
And even, you know, for people who are choreographers, I think that would be even
100%.
More-
You have to know.
Yeah. I mean, it's such a like game of strategy that you just don't come into the game thinking about, because the priority is the competition and winning it and the panel, but more people are going to see
True.
the footage.
Yeah.
And it's good for your show reel
True that.
and all of that jazz. So arguably the footage is more important in the long run than
Yeah, true. Unless you don't
live
get
bit.
through because you didn't.
yeah.
You know
like,
what I mean?
You wouldn't
It's
want to
a,
disregard the footage
Yeah.
entirely,
Yeah.
but while you were saying it, I was like, yeah, bun the footage. And then you finished the thought. I was like, no, but wait a minute. So yeah, it is.
Can I just also
tricksy.
clarify one thing? I don't
Sure.
think that
No.
any of that was. I'm not saying it was
I'm not
Lauren and Omni's fault.
No, not
They
at
did a
all.
great job. I'm just saying it's just something interesting to think about. And I think the other thing as well, though, is that like the editor screws you anyway. Like, because they're not gonna ever do what serves the
Always.
dance best. Like, even if those shots you did do something big, they're gonna cut away at the wrong time, or because it's the priorities are completely different. And I guess I don't know if it's similar in acting, like where you're trying to do a performance and then the editor is just like, you did a really, like you tried to do something and then they cut to something else.
Yeah, I know. I've heard. I can't remember who told me, but some really big actors will fuck up takes on purpose, so the editor can't do that to them.
How do you mean?
So like they'll film the take that they want filmed, and then all the other takes they'll do something that like it
Just
might
a
not
bit
be
wrong.
big, but they might do something that's very big.
Yeah.
They'll do something like that
Look,
they
so you
shouldn't
can't
do,
use
so
it.
they can't use it, so they have to use that
Mm.
take.
Or it's gonna end up in the movie like that Batman, that Marion Cotillard scene.
Oh
Aujourd'hui.
my God, that was
Oh
terrible.
wait, what happened?
In
Is it The Dark Knight?
the last one
Like
with
the
Bane?
Starbucks cup in the Game
No,
of
no,
Thrones
no.
thing?
It's just her acting was terrible.
Oh, is that
When she dies in the
Oh.
truck.
Yeah,
Have you seen it?
I think you sent it to me, but I haven't really.
But I think
It's
But
hilarious.
just
Like,
she goes.
she literally
Yeah.
goes. She's like, what did she even say?
I don't know,
She
but
says something and just like she's like, and then she just goes, like legit, like that is so
Well, maybe
funny.
she did do it to take the piss, and then they're like, "Fuck you, telling me
Yeah.
what I can use."
Yeah, it's so bad.
Very good.
so be careful what you do.
Yeah,
Just picking your nose, it ends up in Game of Thrones.
But yeah,
weird choice.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, so all of that to say, yeah, it's interesting how dance is like kind of conveyed through the TV and like how it affects our view. Because that was my thought as well. Like when we were watching them, it's like you don't, and I've seen both of them dance a lot in real life, so I know already what I'm looking at when I see what they're doing, if that makes sense. So I'm like, you feel this kind of lack of energy through the thing. But having said that, they both did great. They both got through. I feel like we have a button for this. There we go.
There you go.
Lauren and Omni.
Oh,
Lauren and Omni,
Lauren and Matthew.
come on down.
So that was cool. And yeah, both did cool. I'd be interested to see. I'm gonna go to the next
final.
Is it the finals next?
I don't know. You told
Oh.
me it was a final.
Yeah, maybe. Well, I'm going to go anyway and watch it at Roundhouse. So be interesting to see how that goes.
Getting
Max,
a bat, ain't you?
I'm trying.
Yeah, you are getting a bat.
Getting
A
invites
little-
to all of these.
Yeah.
Oh, VIP.
I didn't get an invite. Well, I
Yeah.
kind of did, but I also just signed up for tickets, so it's online. But what was I going to say? Max won the last one, and there's our one mention per podcast
Max
that we're
again.
Yeah.
contractually obligated to do. And that's that. He won the last one, so that's cool. And I wonder if, like, I don't know. What do you think about these things being like fixed, or if it's like they're
It
going to
is.
be like, oh,
think
there was
so.
a street dancer
Yeah.
last time, so this time it's going to be someone. You know what I mean?
It is.
You think so?
I don't think
I know
so.
so.
You don't think
How
so?
do you know so?
It's fixed.
Well, also because it's with these on, I guess
'Cause
we
it's-
have. It's not like Britain's Got Talent or whatever, where it's like an audience, but it is a bunch of judges, so they would know if it. You know what I mean? It's like I can't imagine like Dixon or Julia being like, or
Ivan or
Ivan or
G.
any of them being a part of like, oh, we're just gonna screw over.
Yeah.
It is fixed
Okay.
How do you know?
because of multiple
He doesn't.
experiences from other accounts of people who've been on the shows because
But that
I've
one.
been on a show. Oh, I don't know about this one. No,
Oh.
no.
But just
I'm just
tell
talking
that
about
one shows
talent
in
Talent
shows.
shows in general are fixed. Yeah, they know who's going to
I'd
win
say
before
so.
it goes. Yeah.
But I do think this one,
This seems more legit.
yeah,
Because
It
That's
it's
what I
seems the
was
most
getting at.
purest.
yeah, and like, look who's on the
Max,
panel.
Panels.
yeah, whoa.
No, that's
Oh,
not
no, he's
what
not
I
on the
said.
panel.
The panel.
He will be next year, knowing him. Fucking hell.
what a
But no, I
compliment
think-
insult.
I think the got to dances and all that jazz are
Yeah.
nightmare.
Yeah. Well, anyway, shout out to them. Both of their performances were really nice. I'm looking forward to seeing how they kind of push it.
Woo!
Next thing, I think it's cool because Dennis was on it. Obviously Max, a few other people, and like seeing them go through it, it's like they learn early like how to like structure a performance, how to like put things in. I think it's a nice experience to have as a younger dancer because you kind of get mentored. Like Brooke was doing it before. I think some of the mentoring. Ivan, obviously, I know Dixon's on the panel, but is he mentoring as
Dixon,
well?
bruv.
We don't know. But like to have these people with a lot of experience, like walking you through how to structure a performance, like I'd take that now.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So yeah, I think that's cool, and it's nice, you know, even if it doesn't and again, this is a whole thing of my workshops of like structure and presentation, but even if you learn these things for stage or for this competition, that's going to help you as a battler, like being able to perform, being able to like make these rounds and put things together, like it's going to help you in every aspect of what you do. So I think it's a valuable
What
opportunity.
do they win?
No idea. Do we know?
No.
Max,
Okay,
call him.
Call him now.
Call him,
I
Jen.
can look myself. I haven't got Max's number.
I have put my phone's over there.
I feel like
I
we
can connect
introduce
to the
ourselves
Bluetooth.
to each other every time we see each other.
Max,
Yeah.
get it together.
Trophy and £3,000.
Woo! All right, so let's call Max and ask him what he did with it.
Really?
I don't know.
Yeah. I wonder if that's all he got. Is that the wrong
You're
phone?
not?
No, just if we've already solved the problem.
Oh, fine.
Oh,
Trophy and 3,000.
I wanted to speak to Max.
Well, call him after.
Call him.
Call him now.
Press the Bluetooth thing. Press the Bluetooth.
Press the Bluetooth.
Why am I connecting to my car?
Picnic.
I don't know.
So
Hey, on Max.
Yeah.
Is it ringing?
Tell me why I do it.
Is it calling?
it will be in a minute.
Okay, should I talk about something else?
Yeah,
while
go on,
I'm
hit
connecting?
Hit it.
Okay, so I am making an announcement.
You can turn up the Bluetooth, by the way.
Jen's making an
yeah.
announcement.
Okay. I am making an announcement that there is a Vogue event
Oh, let's go.
happening on the 2nd of May, which is the May Day bank holiday. The May Day bank holiday. That's intense.
Mayday.
Oh, it's not how I would describe that sentence, but okay.
So it's organized by Vogue Rights.
Okay.
So you can look them up on Instagram at Vogue Rights, RITES, and Vogue. Well, you know how to spell that. And the categories are beginner's performance, 1 year or less, commentator versus commentator, performance, pop, dip and spin, best dressed, runway, realness, sex siren, and face.
Yo,
Get it, honey.
Please,
Listen.
commentator versus commentator.
What is that?
Please.
like, I don't know what
the
that is.
hosts,
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
the-
But bro, like
Chanting.
you should listen to the or at least some of it, the ballroom podcast I did.
very good.
You like it? Oh, thanks. but like Vogue is or ballroom is like its own world.
Yes, it is.
Like it's crazy, man. Like some of the categories they have and some of the like it's actually sick. Like it's the most
Quite a bit of structure.
yeah, it's the most structured like
event ever.
no,
style.
but part of our community in any like if you take poppy and hip hop, the break maybe the breaking now that the Olympics has come, but even then, like the way that the social events are structured is mad. Like there's I can't remember all the stuff they told me, but there's so many like almost unwritten rules and like the way that they do things is like you can't do that unless you've done this, but like says who? No one. It's just that's just the way it's done.
Agreement.
And like everyone around the world kind of obeys these like rules and structures in the ballroom culture. It's mad.
Whoa.
It's really interesting.
I would really go if I was in town.
Yeah.
But I'm not in town, so do go and shout out to Vogue Rights.
Nice.
for-
Vogue, right.
Thanks for bringing that
it's-
to the table.
It's at shit.
It's at
Where's
oh
the
shit.
location?
Oh,
street is
sick.
that
I
on?
missed that.
That's
place,
on-
bruv.
yeah, me too. I used to go
Oh,
there all the
shit
time.
was the place.
Ni- 91 Living Room,
Okay,
which is in East London,
this one.
the East London
Oh.
dungeon. I
I know
believe.
East
the
London Dungeon. She listens to one grime song.
Um, and I got reposted.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's happening. Is Max answering or
Oh, I haven't called him
okay?
yet.
Because that announcement is finished, but I have more if you're not ready.
What else you got?
Okay. The next one that I have is that Far From the Norm are looking for dancers.
Max.
Didn't they just audition?
They did, but they're auditioning.
All the people that went were
Okay.
shit.
If he picks up, we'll come back to this.
Yeah, I'll put that on hold while the phone is ringing.
He's not going to pick up for sure.
He's too busy being
Definitely.
employed dancer.
Probably flying with Tom
He's
Cruise.
possibly just got off stage now.
At 9:30.
No, they don't. I don't think they have a show today.
Okay.
Sorry, but the person you've called isn't
Leave him
available
a
at the
voice
moment.
message. Leave him a.
The person you've called is too famous.
Sorry, the person you've called doesn't want to talk to you. You're a low life peon. Goodbye.
Okay, let's talk about Norm.
Okay.
Yeah. So didn't they just audition? What's this deal?
Well, I don't know what the deal is with the people that they've auditioned,
But they're doing another one.
but they're doing another one. They're looking for 1 to 2 performers to join in a creation and subsequent touring of a new work alongside 2 apprentices to build skills and a relationship with Bodhisattva and Far From the Norm.
I could do that.
Due
I'd
to
love
the
to work.
You could do that, but you want to fucking do acting and
smash
don't
it.
want to dance anymore.
Let's do it.
Fucking loser.
Due to the nature of the work, this call out is for Black and brown dance artists only.
You guys
Hey.
are both that thing.
You fucking racist. Don't point that finger at
Kind
me.
of just told myself I wasn't doing anymore, and now I'm like, Traplord was my swan song. Hey, I want to do it. Yeah,
I could
no.
do that. Nice
If
call.
you're interested, thank you. If you're interested to know more and how to audition, follow the link in our bio. So that's in the link tree on Far From the Norm Instagram. So
Nice.
their Instagram is just at Far From the Norm.
So
Could
are we
do some,
thinking?
could we post a thing in the description of the YouTube vid?
Yes.
Yeah.
Making him
Are
do
you
work.
yeah, thanks for that. You said it on camera. There'll just be a cut in that bit and you won't have said anything. Can we that's what I'll do spend my time doing. Are we thinking that they audition just for general company dancers and now this is for a specific piece?
Potentially, or maybe they expected to have more diversity in the room. Maybe.
Oh, and they need 2 specific diverse
Maybe.
cast members.
It depends because I don't know exactly. I saw that they had an audition before, so I don't know if it was maybe for apprentices and maybe that's for cast members. I don't know because it did say to learn alongside 2 apprentices.
Right.
Apprentices.
I just love them.
Yeah. But
Apprentices?
Parentheses.
okay.
What?
Apprentice. What's the plural?
What's the plural of
Yes,
apprentices?
apprentices. Why are you confusing me?
Apprentice.
Why are you
Is
guys?
a
got a
sing-
voice.
It's
is a
apprentices. One is an apprentice.
singular. Yeah. Come on.
Sally,
Get it together.
What
Come
else
on,
you
man.
got?
first time doing a podcast.
Yeah, but
barn.
Far From the Norm
Should I even
do
say it on the
amazing
seat properly?
work,
Okay, no.
and we encourage you to follow and their
Yes,
work and their
agreed.
Instagram, social media, all that.
I also did a lengthy review of Black Dog. If you'd like to see it, it's
On YouTube.
Just scroll down.
Yeah.
Somewhere on the YouTube.
Swipe up.
Yes. So
Swipe
if you'd
up.
like
Have
my
you done a
thoughts on
pod with
that.
Botis?
No, but I'd like to.
Do it.
Call in now, Botis.
Botis, if you're listening. I said this on the thing. I'd love to have him on the pod at
So
some
do
point.
Botis.
Well, I need him to do it. I can't kidnap
Yes.
him.
Maybe
Just do
there's 4 of us.
Don't
Our
get me
chances are
involved
higher
with
now.
your
We'll just start kidnapping guests.
criminal activity.
Just rolling up with all the kit to like their rehearsals.
Yep.
It's the capsule van, run!
Tying them up. Tell me who you were inspired by.
What's your process like? Okay. Next announcement.
Go on.
So,
This should be Jen's thing as well, the announcement.
You should come onto camera for these in the future. It's a long time for them to watch us just staring at you.
Yeah.
Or we could just do fun stuff while you
We need
talk.
another
Yeah.
camera, Luke.
or there should be a Geni puppet and you guys can make it talk on
Something
screen.
fun for
Okay.
them to watch. That's
So,
what I thought
the
of.
next thing is that Clara Bajado
Clara Bajado.
is choreographing a piece in Sweden for 1 month. It's for this organization called Malmo Dance Week.
Okay.
And basically, she's choreographing a full-length show that has dates.
Yeah.
So there's performance dates, but the dancers can come from anywhere in Europe, so they don't have to be Swedish. But the
Okay.
residency is happening in Sweden.
Yeah. Clara's doing all sorts of international things.
She's very
Well done, Clara.
international.
International.
So if you want more information, you can check her Instagram at Clara Bajado, or you can check at Malmo Dance Week. That's MALMODANCE Week WEEK. Okay.
Cool. Did we do a successful job of bringing the visuals up a notch while
I
you
was
talked?
Jenny
not-
was busy reading.
Yeah, because I could not look at you, or else I would have not been able to focus on what I was saying.
Mr.
Leave it in the comments.
Leave it in the comments
Leave it in the
below.
comments.
Okay, I have one last one.
Hit it!
Another opportunity. Casting call. Paleta.
Paleta.
Paleta is choreographing a festival tour that's happening this summer. And I think that the in-person auditions are happening on the 19th of April, which is tomorrow from today. So the podcast might be out by then. But I think there's also options for video submissions.
There are options.
This
for
will
video
be out.
submissions.
What day is it today?
Monday.
We're recording Monday. When's the thing? Tuesday. They're going to miss this.
No,
Yeah,
but there's in-person.
yeah, there's an
Video
after you can-
castings.
Come on,
that are
Yeah.
focus,
after.
mate.
like there's an in-person audition that by the time people listen to this is gonna be
Yeah.
yep, but you can submit videos as well. So you can check that out on Paleta's Instagram, which is Paleta Calm Quality
Yes.
on Instagram. And the festival,
And while you're there, check out her other stuff because she's very dope.
yes, the festival is called Roy's Cup. It sounds
Roy's.
very like
It's a band.
oh, it's a band.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
She's choreographing a band festival. What?
No, the band's festival tour. So
Ah.
they're set for their festival tour.
Sick.
Yeah.
Wavy.
Well, that's a good gig for Paleta.
Amazing, yeah.
Yeah,
Good job
and
for her.
That would be fun for the summer. You know, you go around festivals, dance. have-
Festival
Get
tour.
drunk.
Right?
Hire me.
Alcohol wet festivals? That's the thing, right? Alcohol.
I don't know. I don't know if people drink
Never,
at festivals.
I've never heard of alcohol.
Drugs.
Yeah,
Coachella.
don't know. So that's it for the announcements for
Lovely.
the week.
Thank you, Genevieve. Speaking of announcements, doesn't one of our esteemed colleagues have something coming up?
Oh, yeah.
Hasn't some dates just been
mid-muffin.
dropped? Oh, what's that sound? Oh, it was the sounds of some dates
just been-
dropping.
Oh, careful, it's heavy.
What's that hole in my floor? Oh, it's the
mate.
dates that just
Oh,
dropped.
can you pick? Oh.
To the tally?
So,
Hot take.
I was thinking more of Sweet Spot Sundays, but
Oh.
you're on about III, aren't you?
Oh,
so
is that
I-
multiple dates that
Hold
have dropped?
on, hold on. I'm so
Tally's
sorry.
got
I've got to
this,
hold this,
got
mate.
that.
I can't hold it up. It's gonna drop. It's gonna fall.
Hot.
So,
Stop doing it.
Okay. It's not going to work.
I don't need to say the name of my intensive anymore. I've spoken about it so much on this
Identity,
thing.
ideas, industry.
That one. So I was supposed to run it in February, but I got COVID, so I couldn't. And I have rescheduled it for 16th to 20th of May, 10 till 6 at Impact Dance, a lovely studio on Shaftesbury Avenue. Yeah, so that's the thing. If you want to get involved, holla.
And
For those that didn't
Yeah.
tune into our 4 series podcast or any of the other times we've been on
There's like
the air together? Give us
a
a quick
ridiculous
rundown.
amount. I know I'm not a very good salesperson.
Come
am
on,
I?
just there
So,
might be new listeners.
I've
I hope there
realised that the success of this thing has been word of mouth so far. Like if you've been in the room, then chances are you will wax lyrical about it forever and a day. So I just don't say very much about it anymore, but it's been 5 years, so I should. And I'm going to start hosting people from other countries, so I definitely need to. So the program was born out of my experience as a performer on programs and the exercises and ways of learning that I found to be useful and that I thought were missing from our community. So I built a thing. And the identity part, the reason I don't say much about it is because I feel that it's really self-explanatory. The identity part is about you as a mover and what makes you such, and the things that don't make you such, the things that you love about your movement, hate about your movement, and just the curiosity surrounding the thing. The ideas are about ideas and the makings of things, mostly about making efficiently, because I just don't think making good work has to be a torturous event. And I think that we're taught that like the longer you work on a thing, the better the thing will be. And I think that that notion is trash. And the industry part changes. It's mostly tailored and one-on-one now because everyone needs different things. And me just lecturing about rights and rates isn't that much fun. And then we shoot with Monkey Flip, using the tools that we've been using on the ideas days. 2 days per strand, and then industry is 1 day. That was really unnecessary. It's $225 for the week. It's designed to be taken in full, so I don't really like to offer day passes, but if you want them, holler and I'll see. And then more close to us in time, could have said that better, is Sweet Spot Sundays, monthly sessions that I'm running for dancers of all styles, and that's not all street styles, it's actually all styles. Vatican Studios has been lame, so we've moved, and so where it's a bit of a nomadic situation at the minute, and me having to find somewhere every month. It's a monthly thing, I've said that already, but it's 5 till 8 this Sunday at House of Mass, and it's a tenner. I'm not teaching, I'm just providing the sounds and holding special tally sprinkled space.
Tally sprinkled
And
space.
because you did say holla, but let's say I don't follow you on Instagram. What does holla mean? What is the?
Where do you want us?
What's the handle? What's the email address?
Break it
How
down
do we
for
My
us.
holla?
my handle's in the description.
It is.
Show.
It is.
But my email is tally.iii@yahoo.com.
Repeat that one more time for me, please, because Luke rudely spoke over you.
tally.iii@yahoo.com. The post is on my identity.ideas.industry IG page and mine, and it's got all the info and the pricing and the contact details and blah 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 blah.
Amazing.
Thank you so
Okay.
much for letting me talk about myself
of
for
course.
a couple minutes.
I think that your what was I going to say? The fact that you think it's self-explanatory is only because the way that you've done the program makes ultimate sense to you, but like it's very different from, I think, anything that a lot of people, especially in this country, that anyone else is doing. And even the way that you teach is very different to other people, and the things that you focus on. Like, I don't know anyone else that focuses on like efficiency in making, because that's seen as like a, like you said, like the longer you take, the better the thing is. And efficiency isn't something that is necessarily sought after as an artist, but it should be. It's sought after when you get into the business and you realize you have to be efficient in order to maximize the amount of money you're making, or the amount of jobs you can do, or whatever. But I think also what's cool about the way that, and I think this is kind of why we're friends as well, in the way that this is something that I think we really connect on, is like this middle ground between art and, like, for want of a better phrase, like the real world. And it's like, okay, yes, you can be an artist and you can be in your feelings and you can express your deepest feelings, but we have an hour, you know? And it's like, I don't know anyone else that meets that so nicely in the middle other than you, because I think people are either like super just like, let's just throw anything together because we've only got an hour, or let's spend 7 years and then make nothing. And it's like, I think this middle ground is where I really connect with you on a personal level. But I think what's really great about your program is like all of these things are like very pragmatic in equal amounts to the artisticness, if that sentence makes any sense.
Like I just did some training, coaching training at the beginning of the year, and it's called Coactive. So it's about like me aiding you to do what you end up wanting to do and not what I think is best and trying to impose. But my problem when I was doing that was I do mentor as well, and that is very industry specific. If I know the answer, it would make sense for me to tell you the answer. And I think III is the bridge between those two things. Like if I can see what your pitfalls are as a creative, it is still my opinion, but it's an informed and educated one. So for me to sit here and be like, and why do you feel like that, when I could be like, scrap it.
Just start again.
Not working.
Let's
do this now. And I'm glad I feel confident to do, confident to do it. And I guess I know what I'm doing in that area, and I trust myself to not speak in that way if I think it's risky or
and to identify the difference of what you need to, when you need to mentor and when you need to
coach.
I think also something that I think is worth mentioning that I've said multiple times before, but in case there's new listeners, is that I found it really surprising and beneficial how you don't have to, like, you never made me feel like I had to dance a certain way. And it's maybe the only thing that I've been to for, like, in some places that's fine and I like that, in some places I hate it, where you go in and like everybody, like especially in the crowd that you attract, some of them are like super like contemporary, super artistic, super whatever you want to call it on that side, and me coming in as like a pop or a hip hop dancer who freestyles, like I've often, like more times than I can remember, gone into those spaces and felt like my stuff isn't valid because it's like, oh, you're just trying to do cool stuff and like we're trying to express ourselves and like you've really got to get on our wavelength. Like that's how I've always felt, is like I have to move in a certain way in those spaces for people to appreciate it. And I think what I really liked about your space was like there was a few of us that went that do these styles,
smashed it,
and like it was sick because all of the tasks and the way that you gave feedback and the way that you encouraged certain things was not like dance like us. It was just take these tasks and implement them into what you do best. And again, this is something that people don't do a lot, is like, I think I learned this from you, is like focusing on your comfort zone. I think you said something along the lines of like, if this is our like comfort zone, we spend a lot of time trying to go out of it, but also it's like we need to make sure we're good at and we spend time taking care of the thing that we actually do our best.
Yeah,
you know?
and I think a large part of it, and also a challenge for me now because I am saying the same things a lot, is I'm also at risk of not saying them in as much detail as I used to.
In the intensive or outside?
In the intensive. Right. But a large part of the identity bit is you talk about your comfort zone, but do you even know what it is? Like if I ask you what your movement identity is, you can't say it. So how can you be scared to go outside of something when you don't even know what you're in? So let's figure out what you're in and just like wade about in the niceness of like doing things you like, instead of like, right, cracked that, tick that off, now I'll
and
put
as
shoes on my hands.
As a battler or let's say like a style dancer or whatever.
Sorry, quickly, is this what Lee did with you as well? Yeah.
Me, Lee, Jen, Monster Pop and Pat.
Lee has very nice things to say about it.
They don't shut up about it.
I know.
Should come. But
very good.
I think one thing is like we confuse habit with speciality. So it's like, especially in our freestyle world, it's like because your habit is to go for like lines.
Talk about it.
Or like your habit is to do a lot of waves. We just assume that that's your speciality, and then we tell you try different stuff. And it's like, just because you're like, I'm a great example of this without needing to cuss anyone else. I can cuss myself. My habit is lines, but at the moment my lines are really ugly and messy. Like if I'm doing like this, my right angles and stuff are all over the place. But
really?
Yeah, if you watch me versus someone like Harry or like people or even like whoever that uses lines, there's
like
certain,
me.
Okay. There's certain ones that I do okay, and like I can make them clean. Yeah. But in terms of the shapes and the I guess it's Toyman and Pop In.
Yeah.
Is like it's really not good. I don't have a lot of variety because and it's something that I've got lazy on because that's the thing that is my go-to.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, well, that's what I
got
go to.
that.
So I've got that. So let me work on my floor work.
Yeah.
And it's like, yeah, but if the thing that you do as a habit is shit, you're going to spend the majority of your time, like in every battle, I do some sort of lines. So if my lines suck, which they do, this is what's letting me down. Like Harry beat me in the last battle, not only because that he's a better popper than me, but we went like back and forth on these line stuff and he's way better than me at it. And it's like, if that's my habit, it should also be something that I'm good at.
You see, it's expressed a lot in like games, movies, and stuff
Yeah.
like that. But like, there's like, I don't know, imagine like a hexagon, pentagon, or whatever, and in each star there's like different stars. So you have your Tut-in, Toyman, Robot, blah blah blah, and you might lie here in like the animation side. Like you could spend like your speciality might be Toyman. You could also learn Tut-in to a certain degree, which is really well, and you could also learn Robot to a certain degree, really well. But then the opposite side would be Boogaloo or something to do with leg work or whatever, and you might be like, right, I need to spend all my time focusing on here, but you can only get to a certain level because this is where you sit.
Right. So it's almost like Catan, like where you have to build those links to get. So like if I, like you said, on your like hexagon or whatever, all of these styles are like, some of them are adjacent to each other, and then you build.
And some of them are complete opposite spectrum.
If you go two opposites, it doesn't. It's not compatible. Whereas if you move slowly through, so if you're like, okay, how would that work? Like Toyman, tutting, and then maybe into like from tutting into maybe like Boogaloo sort of steps. I don't know, like the things that are like adjacent to each other, and then from Boogaloo you end up in and then you can kind of.
Or maybe you're a type of dancer that just in that area or aspect you'll never
it's
get
just not
to that level. It's not how you move or how you sit. So there's no point.
Yeah, and I think we also take the idea of restriction or like not being good at a certain thing as like, I need to be good at everything. And it's like your identity lies in, correct me if you disagree, but like your identity lies in what you don't do or can't do as much as it does in what you can do. Would you agree with that?
Yeah.
And like recognizing where that is and like
Say it again, because I didn't really hear it.
Like if you're trying to discover your identity as an artist, right?
Yeah.
If you do every single thing on this planet, you also do nothing.
Yeah.
Like you kind of are generic, you appeal to everyone, you don't have a niche. So understanding I don't do that thing, I do this thing, and being good at this thing, and not restricting yourself in the sense of like, I'll never do that thing, but choosing the things that you do and don't do is what makes up your identity.
Yeah.
Would you say?
I think for me, it's not about the specialty as much, but you saying like, I do everything, I don't have a niche. It's just important for me that people go away starting to be able to articulate that. Because, you could ask someone that does loads of style, like, who are you as a mover? And they're like, well, I do a bit of, and I do a bit. It's like, boil it down, like distill it and get it out in a sentence or two. And it might change, but just being sure of it in a moment is a really empowering thing. Like my physio said to me at Trap Lord, I have never seen you move so fast, because his experience of me as a mover is like my freestyle things and just me in flow. But as much as I'm capable of doing a lot, I don't identify, like those things don't come into like tally if I think of myself as a mover. And that's a choice that I've made. And I think above all else, the week is just about curiosity and analysis, like the pentagon analogy and all that stuff. Like I love that stuff, and I don't think we do enough of the discussion around it. So we talk as much as we dance, and I've started having us all read in the morning and stuff. And
Something remind me on that pentagon analogy. I've got something to show you.
Okay.
I was going to say, in terms of like what you said, and even what Luke touched on about the workshop, I think from my experience of doing it, it's very much about like it being a choice, and not just the things that you do by default or the things that you don't do because you've never done them, but really you do want to do them, or you would like to move like that, or you would like to integrate that, but you don't know how, so you don't really do it. So I feel like the week is really catered to like, asking yourself and not necessarily making a choice that's going to set you in stone, but saying, okay, I'm moving like this because it's my intent, like, it's an intention and it's a choice, and being like quite
deliberate.
With like even if it's just exercises and trying things, but I think the practice of trying to be very deliberate with everything is something that for me I found really valuable, and that I don't think is something that's being taught necessarily, because it's like, oh, be deliberate in what I'm telling you to do, not in your own choice. And sometimes navigating our own options is more difficult than following what somebody else says. But I think these are the things that ultimately shape you as an artist. And like you said, you know, there's always going to be more things that you're not
doing than what you are doing.
Than what you are doing. But it's like making that choice and feeling confident and empowered in that choice that is the scary thing, and that I think the workshop really
helps on.
In facilitating.
I think as well,
bars.
I'm not saying there's nothing new happening in that room really. They're just like reminders or like cracks so that you can open up what you already
But there are loads of things that
know.
people don't necessarily, I would imagine, think about or are aware of, or even have stopped to try and contemplate. So they can be, even if they're not new, even if it is simple
or
stuff.
just had the time to consider it.
Yeah.
It's just come in and
It's
out.
huge.
So
there's not a lot of that in. You're calling someone. You're calling Max.
Can you?
Fuck what I was
I'll
talking about.
stop then.
Yeah, we'll stop.
We'll stop.
talking-
We'll talk
yeah,
about the
just talk
session
Max.
after, I guess. It better be good. That was really weird timing.
I don't know. I just felt like doing it randomly.
I kind of respect that though, because I'm like that as well.
Thank you.
Do what you want. Fucking adults, I love it.
Fuck the deep dive. Let's talk to Max.
He's still not going to
Sorry,
answer.
but the person
He called me back.
isn't available.
Oh.
Oh, did he? Oh, that's
Fuck
why.
Max.
That's why.
We're not talking to Max.
Yeah.
Lock
Yeah.
that phone up.
Max,
Get it out.
we
Max,
tried.
You
Wait,
missed
wait,
out,
wait,
mate.
wait,
He's always
wait,
like,
wait.
just phone me, guys. Just phone me. He doesn't speak like that, but you know.
He does.
Yeah.
I'm turning it down until he answers.
Okay.
No, he's recording us saying.
I'm gonna send him
screw
a voice note. I mean a video.
Dude, you missed out. All right. If you're seeing this on the video, yeah, because you say you only watch Spotify, go to YouTube. You missed out.
The video's on Spotify too.
The video's on
It is
Spotify
now,
too. Is
isn't
it?
it?
Yeah.
All
I
right,
forgot.
Joe Rogan.
I forgot.
We did try. Actually.
You're boring.
We did try.
Whatever. I don't like you. Yeah. So
Yes.
what was I
Derailed,
saying? I was saying
derailed.
about people don't. Yeah. Also, especially like the industry side of it, I don't know so much in the dance scene, but myself as an actor trying to navigate my industry, there's no one talking about the steps
Industry.
or ways you can go about it.
It's like, what do you want? Like, what don't you want? Because that's getting you closer to what you want. Like, we play so many roles as freelance people. Like, which of the roles do you like? Which ones don't you like? I'm realizing I love to produce. Do I want to produce my own event? I don't so much now, actually.
You did a really interesting one in the last. That was on the artists, where you made everyone list all the roles that they do.
And they said like 3, some
Yeah.
people. And
And
then
Tally
at
was
the
like,
end, they were
nope.
like, nah, it's like 20, but we'll get there. But it's like, if you don't, like, if you're shit with numbers, get an accountant. Like, or if, they make you really anxious and you just can't do it
Outsource.
and they're moving on the page, like, get an accountant. Like, how long is it going to take for you to be comfortable with that? Too long, too stressful. Don't worry about it. If Insta makes you want
Fucking
to,
sick.
like, dig a hole and get in it, get someone to do your socials. It's money, but it's a worthy investment. And I will say this as well, 225 probably sounds like a lot of money. 225 to be clear, it's not £2.25. So not a dickhead. It might sound like a lot of money, but you really do it once and carry it with you for the rest of your dancing days.
What is that? That's like
It's a worthy investment, I
Dropping
think.
game. She's dropping game on you.
like 40 quid.
Here's some game, kid. You want to make
it's
it in
like
this
40
industry?
quid a day, and it's 10 till 6. It's 8
It's like-
hours
yeah,
a day.
it's fucking
That's
Like,
sick.
that's not a lot at all.
it's well worth your while. And
Maybe
in
bump it up.
lighter, less intense commitment vibes, session on Sunday.
Sweet spot Sunday.
No post on
And
Sunday.
I've
You love
spoken to
alliteration, don't you?
Jess. I don't know where Sweet Spot Sun. No, I do. It was
your
what
class.
Robia and I called our class,
Yeah.
and then I just drifted it over to the sesh. Talking to Jess. It's O'Reilly, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, about what makes a good session, because she's
Ooh.
been coming to them all.
Jesse?
Jesse.
Because they're not as well attended as I might have thought they would be. And I don't know if there's anything that I could be doing better in the room. Like, I don't know what makes a good session. I'm just doing what I've done in my sessions with my mates and what's made for really magical times. But it's not me and my mates.
How do you find that in these sessions? Like, how do you find the behavior of the attendees? Like, what tends to happen in the room?
Well, the first time, everyone kind of had a mate.
You're right.
And it ended up being pairs for the most part.
Mm-hmm.
And then for the rest, it's been everyone just staying to themselves a little bit. And that's when I asked Jess, 'cause it's like, is a sign of a good session that it ends up being one united thing. Like, I asked her when she sessions, is it important that she's exchanging with someone, or is it enough to just have a space where you like the music and the energy's cool and you're just getting on with your own thing? Like, I'm barely dancing at them, mostly probably because I've been in the trap, but is that important to people in that I'm holding it, but I'm just like chilling out and maybe around every now and again? So many variables.
I think for me, I need the exchange aspect.
You do?
Yeah. Like, I think if I'm going to just work on stuff, I'm going to do it at home. And even if it's like, even if just, and this is just me personally, even if Abe just comes over to pop, it's like, yeah, it's cool to like train and to work on stuff, but mostly it's like the reason I'm asking him to come over is so that I can kind of go back and forth with him or show him stuff or see what he's doing and get that energy and try and help it inspire what I'm doing.
Bye.
Yeah, steal all his stuff because he doesn't fucking battle.
Interesting.
But yeah, so I think whenever I go to a session, the ones where I feel the best is like when I feel like I've like exchanged, and I don't usually like that word, but like exchanged with enough people where like it can be like, you know, it's a couple of times me and Jen have gone to session and we've just like gone back and forth for the entire time, just us two, and that was fine because that's what kind of the intention we went with. I think sometimes when there's too big of a cipher or like exchange, and you have to wait 15 minutes per round and people are taking 3 minutes per, or 3 songs or whatever.
I ain't got time for it.
Yeah, I don't. Or even, you know, there's the whole thing of like different ways to cipher, and when people just kind of pop in and out and like they'll come do a round and then leave, and I'm like, well, thanks for just showing me that. And not like, I think for me the best sessions I've had is when there's been a few different ciphers or like little exchange circles, whatever you want to call it, and what I enjoy the most is like building with those people over the course of the session. And it's like, you know, often you're going to get like one person that's going to switch, or it will change a little bit, but what I really love is like, you know, the way we used to cipher in Watford as well is like you're working on stuff. So whether it's like you're there because you want to work on even just your performance and how well you can execute all the shit that you've been training, or there's certain floor moves or whatever it might be why you're there, even if it's just you're like, I haven't let go properly in a while and I'm going to do that. But it's like you kind of see that in everybody's dance if you spend enough time in a cipher with someone. So like when there's been like 3 or 4 of us or 5 or whatever, you have a nice tight thing, everybody's doing their rounds, and then after like 2 hours you've seen what they were doing at the beginning, you see what they do at the end, and you see what they were kind of the journey they went on in that session. Like, oh, you were trying to relax and now you're relaxed, or oh, you were trying to nail that one floor move this whole time and then you did, and I'm like invested in this little, it's like a conversation, you know. If I mean, we're doing it now, but like if me and you sit down, or the 3 of us sit down or whatever, okay, Jen as well, but like, and we're talking about a topic for like 3 hours, it's like, it would be shit if somebody just sat down, oh, what are you talking about, that movie? Yeah, it was good, and left. Or like, it's just me and you talking and then they're talking. It's like, well, let's all dive into a topic and get deeper into it. And then by the end, we're like, oh, I'm really glad I understand more about your artistic preferences, you know? So for me, that's when I can build with somebody and obviously enjoying the music and all that shit. But like, yeah, that's the sort of thing that I've really felt like, oh, that was a fucking good session. Is like when I've really like, yeah, gone on a deep dive with a fairly limited group in the room, you know.
Thoughts?
Yeah, I think smaller circles are better than bigger circles, just for like anxiety aspect. I know a lot of people get nervous. I know I get nervous still going into ciphers and stuff like that.
But you're so good.
Thank you. doesn't mean that I don't get nervous. But then also, like, I do appreciate, like, not everyone has space in that, like, you're blessed with quite a lot of space to practice movement.
Yeah, sure.
I'm not so much. A lot of people aren't. So, like, having that space to move around, having a mirror to be able to look at yourself and be like, what is this angle actually look like? Because it feels good, but it looks whack. Stuff like that is helpful. So for me personally, a good session is I'm able to go in, practice a bit of stuff at the beginning, and then be like, right, I know near the end there's some cipher stuff, so maybe I'll take some of that stuff in, and who knows what will happen. If I see something that someone else likes, I might explore that, or just appreciate people I've never met before dancing and see how they move. But it does normally end with some
exchange.
all right, class, let's get together and share what we've done
What we've
type
learned.
thing.
Yeah.
But I've never been part of I think I went to a session once that you invited me to. It was you and Kieran, I think, put it on, and it was just
Vatican.
Yeah.
Is it
Yeah. Tell us
Maybe.
probably there.
it was a big cipher at the beginning.
Yeah.
And I was like,
Nah.
this ain't for me, and I
Yeah.
went off and did my own thing, and then I think it was like me, Jan, Lee, Camilla, and then I think you might have joined afterwards.
But I think
Big
that,
ciphers are really good.
yeah. And I think also, I mean, this is a thing that I've been saying since I've been in the UK, but I feel like like people here like really stay super long in the ciphers.
Oh
Like
my God.
they're gonna take a whole song and like
We do whole songs
yeah.
in the session.
But your
But-
session is slightly different than like battle oriented
anyways-
sessions, I find.
All that to say that like there's different like different kinds of sessions and
Yes.
different things, but I feel like in general, if you're gonna take a whole song and you're like 2 or 3 or 4 people maybe, like cool, but if you're like 10
Yes,
people
yeah,
and
yeah,
you
yeah,
have to
true.
wait like 20 minutes
Yeah.
till you're dancing again, especially at the beginning
You're doing
of
4 rounds.
of a session, it's like, okay, you're not even warm yet, and you get warm for 2 minutes and then you have to wait again. So I think that like prevents a certain energy from building.
And also, it is a vicious circle because if you know it's going to be 20 minutes
Yeah,
until your
then
next round,
you're
you're,
gonna go
taking
Yes.
longer. So
Yeah.
Big sessions. Sorry, go on, Jen. Cut
But-
you off, rude.
I think that like in terms of maybe like just an idea here, but in terms of your session, I would like not necessarily like being super strict about it, but if you have like an etiquette for, like, okay, in this session, like, the general rules of the room are like, okay, try to keep the, for the first half hour, we have ciphers with around this number of people, and then you take as long as you want, but people can cut each other off, or I don't know,
Right.
but if you put
ground
a
rules.
kind of like etiquette and thing, and it helps like engineer the space that you want to create, and you think about maybe what are the elements maybe that are unspoken, because you say when you cipher with, or when you have sessions with your people, like it kind of creates magic moments, but what are these elements and how can you
I think that's the dilemma, is that I don't want to teach these.
yeah
It's
but it's like,
how do I create and lead the space? Do I want to do that at all? And like, if I think for me, if I'm doing that, I'm doing that.
yeah.
So for me to say, here's what I would like to take place over the next 3 hours, and then just leave and
Yeah.
do my
But
own
Yeah.
also
thing,
it's like,
tricky.
yeah, but I think it could also be a like, not necessarily a like, this is how you do it, but this is like the general house rules.
Yeah,
know,
like
Yeah.
code of
I've done
context,
that.
kind of
I've
like,
done that mostly from the context wasn't the right word to use there, but I don't see this so much in like hip hop sessions that I've been to, but as much as people are all there for their own reasons, it still seems to come together in a certain way. I think I'm just hyper aware of where everyone is when they come into the space. I'm like,
Yeah.
I don't know how I'd get us all on the same accord, or I don't want to have the expectation that you've come here to exchange with someone, because you really might not have. And who am I to be like, throw down now?
But what you could do is like, if you know that some people are there to exchange or they enjoy that type of thing, I think what you were saying as well in the session that we did, where you have that main thing and then people can drop off and do their own thing, but it kind of gives people something to join if they want to.
Yes,
and people will tend to drop in and out. Of, they'll cipher for a bit and then leave and work on something, or like Abe said, he'll start working on his own stuff and then come in. But if you have maybe an option, it could help. I think one thing that I've seen done a couple of times that could be an interesting vibe for a session that you could just let run is like if you do this kind of cipher thing and you say like at one time, let's say, it can be a minimum of 1 and a maximum of 3 people in the space, and you just let that run. So it's like, because what happens is when someone's taking long, you get this thing where everyone wants to go in, but you obviously don't want to be a dick and cut that person's round. And in like battle ciphers or party ciphers, that happens. People just get cut, and that's like the harsh side of it. But with this, it's like you could have where one person's dancing and then someone else can just come in.
Yes.
And you know what I mean? And they can come, like that one person can.
My friends do like a solo, then a duet. So it's the same person, someone else joins, and then that person that joined does a solo. So you just do 2 rounds in a row basically, and you just keep. And
if you let that run for the whole thing, and it's like not everybody has, like that's what we're running here. And then if you want to just drop off and do your own thing, you can, and then you've got options for people. Like I would be in that thing the whole time, whereas maybe Abe's going to come in halfway through. You know what I mean? Maybe someone's not going to join it at all. And then you've got a little like,
something to hold on to. Thanks for this, because this could have definitely been off pod, but it's hopefully interesting for everyone else.
We're running, aren't we?
This is Get Along. Right. 2 hours and 14 minutes.
Jesus
Holy.
Christ.
We had like 15 at the beginning.
Cut all of that if you want.
That's all right.
I think that's it. People would like to listen to that and then think, oh, what do I like when I go to a session?
Yeah, and then they're going to message you and be like, what about this idea?
Yeah.
You'd be like, I was going to go, but she doesn't sound like she knows what the fuck she's doing.
Staying clear of that. She's raising the bar.
Usually the last 10 minutes are...
We've been surprisingly
wild.
calm today, I find.
There was a bit of mayhem at the beginning, I think.
Yeah. Max, should we give Max one more try? Because he did call me back.
He better come through with some bants, because you're really committed to this.
Yeah.
Should I not just do it?
You're basically obsessed with Max.
No, all right, I'm not calling him. All right, I'm not calling him. I'm not doing it. I'm not doing it. I'm not doing it. I'm not doing it.
Do it.
I'm not doing it.
I'll 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 do it.
Oi.
You.
Listen. I'm not doing it.
I'll do it.
I'm not doing. Jen's ready to play us out, but I'm not doing it.
I'm British. I'll do it.
I won't do it.
Oh.
I won't do it.
Oops, wrong one.
Do it.
I won't do it.
I'll do it.
I won't do it.
You'll do
it. Do it. I won't do
You'll
it.
do it.